Inclusives, and we have Neha also with us from St. Columbus. We will be discussing about the different ways in which we can incorporate social justice in science subjects. Neha, over to you.
Thank you, Aindrila, ma'am. I've already shared the screen with all of you, and I hope it's absolutely clear. We would also like to encourage, interactive session later. So kindly put your comments, suggestions, any questions that you have in the chat box. So I'll start with the first example, which is for grade 4. So herein we talked about air pollution. The topic was discussed earlier, and then students were shown this image of Earth, which was sad. And then a few questions were asked, like why does the Earth look sad? What are the causes of this condition of Earth? And what can you do to make the Earth happy again? And here they actually came up with very good answers that why is actually Earth looking sad, because they have already studied pollution. Then a project was given to them as Diwali was approaching, which is a festival in India, that you can make lanterns instead of bursting the crackers. Now this also helped children developing awareness. A sense of responsibility was also developed at a very tender age, and they also became conscious, of the environment. This is the second example. This is again for class 4. This is the research work given to the students. They were asked to identify a local water body, and then the research was to be conducted, for which the pointers were also given to the students, that identify the local water body. It could be any pond, lake, river, and then they have to check whether it's looking dirty or polluted, or is it clean. If it's dirty, then identify the actions that have polluted it. Identify those actions which you can take to stop the pollution. And to be on the creative side, we ask students that you can create a pictorial booklet or a brochure, and then recommend ways how can you save a very precious resource, water. To make sure that the research was done in a very proper and precise manner, a checklist was given, and it was consisting of all these questions, like write the name of the water body, and then look at the water. What is the color of it? Does it look clear or dirty? What is the smell? Like if the water is odorless, it is pure. But if it is coming, some strange smell is coming, look for the trash. Is there anything floating on the water? Any plastic? Then can you see any fish or bugs in the water? If you can see, then how are they looking? Are they healthy or sick? Ask about pollution. Then I also try to interview people nearby, then why is it the condition of water like that. They were also asked to collect a few pictures as a factual data, and here you can see a sample is attached. The student has researched on river Ganga. He has also mentioned what is the importance of the river. Then this project was transdisciplinary. That's why a bit of geography part is also involved, where all the states it's crossing this river. How did it get polluted, and then what I can contribute as a child at the age of 4. What can I do? How can I create awareness amongst people in my family or in the school? So they came up with really good ideas. This is the third example, food preservation. So this is a topic in class 5, where we have taught children about food spoilage, and then how can you prevent that. So different preservation methods were taught, and SDG 3, good health and well-being, was incorporated here. So it's a follow-up activity wherein students were asked to bring wrappers of any packaged food item, and they have to read the information given on them. After reading all the ingredients and preservatives that they consume, and they might have consumed in the last week, for which the wrapper they have brought, they analyzed what they ate was healthy or not. Then after analyzing the situation critically, after the good discussion, they came up with a lot of recommendations to change their dietary plan and implement in their own life, because that is what we want, that first the change needs to be bring in ourselves, and then we can bring it in the society. So students became aware of their own nutritional intake and develop good eating habits, healthy eating habits. Next is again related to food. So here we have taught students about different components of food, why nutrition is important, importance of food in our daily life, and it is basically focusing on SDG 2, which is zero hunger. Students were taught about importance of food and nutrients first, the role of nutrient in our body, and then how it can impact, and in a longer run we can have deficiency diseases and it can affect the children in our country. These pictures were shown, case studies were shown to them, also to state the facts. Graphs and statistical data like pie charts etc was shown, so that they become conscious of what's happening in the surrounding. They become uh, considerate about the people who are needy, who don't get food on their plate. And that's how they came up with the idea that we can contribute our food to the needy people. Also we can raise ration collection etc. And here again we have pollution, as we have taught earlier about air pollution. This is in general wherein we use a lot of plastic in our daily lives. So this is an activity wherein they were asked to make bags using newspapers, good sturdy bags, and all the bags which have been made by the students, but they were only asked to distribute the bags to the vegetable and the fruit vendors. As you can see in the second picture, the child has distributed a good number of bags to the vegetable vendor, and we are trying here to raise awareness and taking actions. So this is the sixth element of incorporating justice, wherein the child is now advocating and also taking an action to reduce the consumption of plastic and being more eco-friendly. Over to you, Andrila ma'am.
Thank you, Neha ma'am. Uh, so the next slide is dealing with fiber to fabric. As you can see, this is meant for class 6 age group of 11 to 12 years. So in this chapter, it is being taught what are the different fabrics that we get from animals, but as a consequence of our own action, we are posing a threat to the animals, which is dealing with SDG number 15, SDG number 14, that is life on land. Can we move to the next slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Next slide. This is another example. A few minutes back, you saw another example of same water, but that was for class 4. And see, it's the same topic, but you are dealing. We are dealing with this chapter in a different way. This is for class 6, sixth standard. Here we are telling them how to take action on saving water, conservation of water. So this is a model that the children will be making as a project. This is given as a project where the children will be taught about rainwater harvesting and how in our own little way we can save water. So this is again an awareness campaign where or a program by which we can make our children more aware of the global crisis for water. The next slide that is going to come up is going to explain about the ecosystem. So this is a chapter in class 8 biology. The age group we are aiming at is 13 to 14 years of age. We are talking about the different types of ecosystem which are present and their interrelation. Now, owing to this, when we are discussing about this, we are also identifying the different dangers and threats to different ecosystems, and that the ecosystem, the aquatic, the terrestrial, the different types of ecosystem, and also the human threats. There, the ecosystems are being continuously destroyed due to human action, and how we are not like this is how we are going to deal with the topic by integrating SDG number 13, 14, 15, which is climate action, life underwater, and life on land. That is all kinds of flora and fauna and their well-being. That is our job. We have to keep that in mind. So that is how we are collaborating the chapter along with the different SDGs. Next we have is another chapter which is reproduction for class 8. See, this chapter we are discussing about how X chromosome and Y chromosome are responsible for the gender identity. Like, we know that if it's a female we will be having XX chromosome, if it is a male we will be having XY chromosome. But then this is a chance factor. The sperm which will be carrying Y chromosome will be responsible for the birth of a boy child. But then this is something which has to do with science. So when we are talking about this, when we are dealing with this topic in the classroom, we can also talk about the reasons based, like why women, married women, most of the cases where they are subjected to gender based violence, like a woman who cannot give birth to a boy child, that woman is looked down upon or is being tortured. So these myths need to be broken, that female is not responsible for the sex of the offspring. So this is integrating with SDG number 5, that is gender equality. Next up we have is for class 9, study of gas laws. There are different gas laws which will be taught in the class. Along with that, we will be mentioning, or we do generally mention, that air, which is a mixture of gases, different kind of gases are there in air, which has got greenhouse gases, the chlorofluorocarbons, and how the air quality is deteriorating day by day in the urban situations. So what can we do to improve the air quality, and what can we do as a pollution measurement? Okay, then how do the greenhouse gases can be managed, how can we have environmental modeling, what can we install in our own capacities? So this is again relating to the environment and the factors which are based on the abiotic components which needs to be taken care of. So these are were the slides in short which we discussed. um, we now leave the room open for all of you to make use of the chat box. And if you have any query, if you have anything to ask, you will be getting a set of questions in your chat box. uh, so we would like to invite you to write down in your own capacity, what do you feel when we talk about these questions? For example, have you been trying to have such kind of conversation in your classroom, or have you been doing something similar to this in your own classroom, in your assemblies, or yes, okay. Any example you want to share with us? If you want to, you can put it in the chat box. Any question regarding what we discussed? If you feel there is any other topic, okay, or which you can relate to apart from what we have done, you can also share that in the chat box. If you have any lesson topics or concepts which are similar to what you teach in your school curriculum, it will enrich our own pool. So ma'am has posted the questions in the chat box. We just have uh, 4 more minutes to go, so I would invite all of you to, I mean, just put in your own any topic from physics. Definitely there are topics from physics. um, for example, when you are talking about sound energy, you can relate to force. There are a lot of gravitational force, as I mentioned about sound and energy.
There's a very good input over here. Discussed about the impact of vehicles brought during PT meets and impact. Definitely does. Carpool and other things that can be, taught to students. And they definitely
Right.
affect their family members and their
Even saving
also.
electricity in water.
Yes.
because when you are teaching the chapter heat or electricity as different forms of energy, you can always talk about sustainability and responsible consumption of electricity, knowing that this is an exhaustible resource. We won't have it. I mean, once it is out, it is gone, it is gone forever. So we can talk about all those topics from physics. Thank you. Right. Topics from health and hygiene, human diseases. Absolutely. Right. Renewable resources we can always talk about.
There is one more
That is actually addressing the SDG, sustainable agricultural techniques. Right. When I teach reproduction, I do talk about X and Y chromosome and how or why women should not be responsible for giving birth to a boy child. Right. Components in air. Right. Why a boy child is more preferred. Wonderful. Succulent, helpful to purify water wastage.
5 hours, adolescence. Very, very good topics to, incorporate SDGs, peer group and their impact.
Yes, thank you so much. We can also talk about Down syndrome when we are talking about X chromosome, Y chromosome. I mean, yes, that is one very important point, because that is still now, and when we are talking about good health, well-being, mental well-being is definitely a part of it, which is also again SDG number 3. We just have one more minute to go. Adolescence topic, right? Nutrition, discussion about menstrual cycle, biodegradable and non-degradable resources, Miller's experiment. I use newspaper articles to teach and instruct them. Wastewater treatment plants. Okay, so we are more or less, we have come towards the end. I would like to thank all of you, all participants, and also Neha ma'am. Uh, it's a wonderful experience. I could see the answers coming, and so many different types of ideas, different types of concepts. Everybody is sharing over here. We have done our own part, and it's lovely to see that so much of work each one of us in our own capacity of being a teacher we are doing. So thank you so much. Thank you all. We really hope to meet soon online.